New videos every day.
Hi, I'm Dr. Vincent Bellonzi. You know, in this time of energy crisis and everything else, we're talking about using different products to fuel. We've got diesel that's being discussed. Maybe that's going to be helpful. I think also a little bit. And then, we've got all the corn products. We're trying to make ethanol and everything else, and it's driving the price up of corn. But I want to talk about something else that may not be the best use for corn. How many times can you count, maybe even today, that you've consumed high-fructose corn syrup? There are some people out there that when I go over, say, a food journal, or I look at what they're eating day to day, every food they had some kind of a sweetener in it, and usually it's high-fructose corn syrup. Now, fructose in its natural state, usually it's a fruit sugar, right? It is found in corn as well. Fructose in its natural state is pretty easily used by the body. It's a good sugar, let's call it. And when you eat whole fruit, your body breaks down fiber, your body extracts this sugar at a slow rate, everything's beautiful. It's not a problem. But when you concentrate that fructose, it actually becomes something dangerous. In fact, what we're observing medically is that the fructose that's concentrated out of corn syrup makes things like diabetes occur much faster than even, say, table sugar. And remember, the sugar on your table is not a natural substance either. It's a processed sugar. It's been chemically altered. It doesn't occur naturally. So you want to use sugars that are occurring naturally. They even have therapeutic benefits. There are some companies that make supplements based on some of the naturally occurring sugars. They call them essential sugars, although you can manufacture them. But they're sugars that naturally occur in fruits and vegetables. And these sugars are okay to eat because they don't cause a problem. But when you extract and concentrate something like you do with high fructose corn syrup, it makes something that the body can't use very safely. We do see more and more that you can create diabetes and other problems, metabolic syndrome, much, much faster by consuming this high fructose corn syrup. It's, in a sense, a dangerous toxic substance. In small amounts, not as bad, but anything in a small amount is probably not as toxic as if you use more of it. But even in small amounts, it has some detrimental effects. So it may not have been a problem when we were using a little bit here and there. But what I'm afraid of is that there are people out there that are consuming a great deal of it. People that drink a lot of sodas and have a lot of packaged foods which contain these sugars. And the reason is that the companies want you to consume their products. And if they make it sweet enough, they can keep your addiction process going on. But if you eat enough of this high fructose corn syrup, you're almost guaranteed to become diabetic. Now that's coming out in some studies. I can't make that statement absolute at this point, but more and more statistically and more as we see clinically, people that are consuming the higher levels of high fructose corn syrup, there is a higher incidence of diabetes. So I believe that soon I'll be able to confidently say that if you eat high fructose corn syrup, you're probably going to create diabetes. There's a connection anyway, but it's a strong connection. The high fructose corn syrup is used in so many foods. I want you to start paying attention. I want you to be careful with how much of it you consume. I would be just as happy if you didn't have any high fructose corn syrup at all in your diet. That would be ideal. And what that would mean is you'd have to eat real food. You'd be eating the fruits and the vegetables and the things that I want you to consume. And you'd have a healthier operating body. You'd feel better. You'd look better. There'd be a huge payoff. But this is reality. So I realize that people are looking for convenience, that people are needing to find things that can satisfy different cravings. People need things that they can only get, maybe they're at the airport or someplace where they can't get the things that they want and they need to get some kind of nutrition. So there are going to be instances where you're probably going to consume the high fructose corn syrup, but minimize it because it's not a real safe substance to consume. It looks like it actually makes your cravings stronger than other types of sugar. It looks like there is a high incidence, like I said, of diabetes being created. In a sense, it is a bit toxic. So I need you to be careful with it. And we're going to do another video in the future. I want to just talk about how high fructose corn syrup and other chemicals are used to, in a sense, get you addicted to certain types of food. There are a lot of the convenience foods that people become dependent or addicted on, and first of all, they find it hard to do without that food. And once they start eating it, they find it hard to stop. It becomes almost like a drug, and maybe we should look at it like a drug. But high fructose corn syrup and some of these other chemicals like glutamate are put into foods to make you believe that they taste better. And maybe to cover some kind of a taste, maybe to get more out of the food, not have to put as much that's costly in it, like nutrients. But there are a lot of things that are done to food to make you feel like you need them. There's something called the reticular activating system that I'll talk about in the next video. And this is something that the media uses to program you. And they make you believe that if you eat this junky food that's full of high fructose corn syrup and chemicals and everything else, that you're going to feel the way the person does on the commercial, all happy and smiling and running through flowers. It's not that way. Be careful with the things that you introduce into your body. We've got all kinds of things in the environment. We've got poisons and chemicals. It's in the air. It's in the water you drink. It's being talked about more and more how poisoned the environment is. But why do you intentionally poison your own internal environment? The better you keep your internal environment working, the cleaner you keep it, the better you give it nutrients so it can do its job, the less that environmental exposure is going to affect you. And if you're already affected with things like multiple chemical sensitivities or allergies or other problems, you need to wake up and start turning the tide. Because there will be a point where your body is overburdened and will not keep up. And in a sense, it already is because you're showing symptoms. So start being more aware of what you put in your mouth. I could forgive it when you were 2 years old. But if you're older than 2, you've got enough reasoning to know what should go in your mouth and what you should pass on. This is Dr. Vince Bellonzi. Live healthy.
There are over 350 videos on our channel, and I doubt you've seen them all. And the topics range from weight loss, nutrition, sexual health, all the way to psychology and mind control, and anywhere in between. And I think if you check them out, you're going to find some really interesting stuff.